I'm now at my accommodation for this evening. This is St Lawrence Church, Hilmarton. I came in through the very busy line a couple of miles that way just because I wanted some supplies. I picked myself a bottle of sparkling rosé wine, some chocolate and some newspapers to try and dry my shoes. It's been quite a wet day actually. Don't mind, I'm really okay with the rain, but I would quite like to dry my shoes, stuff them out with newspaper. Gosh, look at those gargoyles up there. Here's the keys. Lovely lady, Elaine's just come and introduced herself, showed me around. The bell ringers will start arriving in about 45 minutes, which gives me a chance to just get unpacked and changed really. But let me show you how nice they've made the church. This is my accommodation. It's just so lovely, champagne. I'm in the lady chapel over there. She said feel free to move the bed, but I'm not going to. It's lovely. Oh, there's kitchenette, WC in there, hot water. That'll be my social area tonight. I think I'll just be chilling out there actually with my wine. I normally like sitting out in the churchyard and having all the lights on and, you know, just chilling out on a church bench, but I somehow don't think that's going to happen tonight because of the weather. This is the champing area. This is my bed, hot water bottle as well. What are those, hand warmers, soaps maybe? I've got my sleeping bag and I've got an inner for it as well. I've got a pillow, so I didn't bother bringing my sleeping mat. Always quite a nice thick blanket there. It's all very cosy. Got the lights. So I'm in the nave. Look at the chancel. Just, it's like walking through a door. That's almost like an invisible door. It just completely changes the atmosphere. I love chancels first thing in the morning. On a spring morning or a summer morning when all the light floods down, you just get all the colours. It's a bit like an acid trip. It really is sometimes. All the lights flooding down on the floors and the walls. Just got a very, very ethereal feel to it. And through the arch. Now I really have got to go and bring my panniers in and get in some warm clothes. Bell ringers are here. They're behind the curtain. They're going to start ringing soon. I'm just going to sit here with a glass of wine and enjoy it. They offered me to go up in the clock tower and help wind the clock. I'd love to, but I've got no shoes to go up there, and they said I would need shoes. My shoes are absolutely soaking wet, and I don't want to be traipsing mud and dirt up there. The bell ringers have arrived and it's all started. Cheers. Lovely and cosy here. I've got a blanket over my feet, hot water bottle on a pillow, on a stool. You can probably hear the bell ringing started. So the bell room is actually above the wooden screen. It's where the curtain is. I've learned a lot today because that chap at the first church who took me up into the bell tower, he said it's in 3 stages. I went, oh, well, okay. And he sort of said, we went up this really twisty, narrow staircase and we went to the bell room up there. And I always thought bells were rung from the ground, you know, because you see the ropes coming down through the holes in the ceiling. So there was a bell room, the ringing room, and then we went up to the first peal of bells. There were 2 really big ones. And then we went up even further to the top of the tower, and there were 4 medium ones up there. And I had no idea it was done like that. I always thought it was done at ground level. And when we came back down, he started pulling some of the bells and telling me how they do it. And there was this big, it looked like a dart scoreboard. And I asked him what all the numbers were. And he said, it's basically like an early version of an algorithm. All that tuning doesn't happen by accident. They're all quite well drilled, and there's all these different permutations. He started telling me something like to get through one whole cycle, the maximum amount of permutations would be 5,200, I think. So it's just sort of been a bit of an education today. I just thought people just pulled a rope and then probably went to the pub afterwards. But yeah, it's a lot more technical than that. now about 9:15 and the bell ringers have just left. And I was quite surprised at actually how quiet the bells were. It sounded like it's in a distant building, because I've been in churches before when the bells have gone off and it sounds like they're right above you. That really does. So it's just nice sat here. I'm nice and warm now. Had some hot food. I've had a couple of hot water bottles just to warm my feet up. I've got one now resting on a stool on top of a cushion, and I've got a warm blanket over me, so I'm nice and warm. I'm on my second glass of wine, just really enjoying the moment. So it's so lovely and cosy in here. I don't regret being inside all evening. As I said, I normally like to sit outside, but it just wasn't possible tonight. I got here feeling quite cold. My priority was to get warmed up. This is the porch looking out. I've locked this outer gate. See, there's still a little bit blue sky. There's some bird song, but it has been a cold day, so sitting out on the porch wouldn't have been feasible. My bike's locked up here. That gate, that door is locked. And here we are. Then I locked in the door. That's me nice and secure. I'm just going to go and play around with the lights behind there. Just gone 9 p.m. The bell ringers left about 20 minutes ago. This is the lights room the lady showed me around earlier on. The key holder, Elaine. So all the switches. She did ask me not to put the floodlights on outside because it just illuminates the whole church and it sort of spooks the neighbours. They wonder what's happening. But I've kept the Lady Chapel on and the chancel and the altar. I've turned off most of the nave lights. And wow, look at this. How's that for atmospheric? That's wonderful, isn't it? Into this marvellous chancel through this stone screen, up the step, altar rail, all the wall paintings, vestry in no respect. And just look how cosy my area is. They really do make it nice when you come to Champion churches. It's a brass eagle with all the fairy lights on. My bedding area, I've got my sleeping bag lofting out. Got a sheet sleeping bag inner liner there. I'm going to put a hot water bottle in there because I was quite cold when I got here. Actually, I've got all my shoes stuffed out with paper. Probably going to put some of my damp cycling clothes in with me. It's an old trick I learned years ago. It's the best way to dry clothes when you're away camping. And this is my area. I've been sat all evening. Once I had some hot food, I really warmed up. I've been having hot water bottles all night on a cushion, on a stool with that blanket over me, just sipping away at my wine, listening to all the bell ringing up there. It's been a wonderful evening. Right, I'm going to go and dim some of the lights because I just want to sit here with just literally the battery lights on. And I've just turned most of the lights off in the church. All I've got are the battery operated lights. There's the multicoloured lights over there in the social area. There's the Lady Chapel over there, all lit up with nice white lights. That's where I'm sleeping. And then the multicoloured lights around the brass eagle. I think I need to go and relight that section. I've now just got the Lady Chapel lit up, the left-hand aisle. So there's a social area with my wine. I'm going to chill out, all my bed lit up. I've got the head torch ready for when I do turn all the lights out, because I need to find all the switches for the battery operated lights. Wow, what a wonderful place. And the reason I wanted to experiment with the lights was because I really want to find where all the switches are, because I had it once before at a church. I got nearly all the lights off when I was ready to go to bed, bar one. There was a whole row of lights and I looked everywhere before I could find the switch. So I don't want to be doing that when I'm ready to go to bed and I'm tired. Okay, I've switched everything off. all the circuit lights, all the battery lights, and this is just me with my head torch now, making the way to my bed. I put a hot water bottle in it about 10 minutes ago. I'm hoping when I strip off, get in my liner, should be nice and warm down the bottom. Then in between the layer of the outer bag and the inner bag, I'll stuff down. It's not wet clothes, they're damp, but I just find it's not very nice. In fact, it's pretty unpleasant, but it's a really effective way of putting on dry clothes in the morning. I'd rather have a slightly yucky insertion into the sleeping bag and you soon forget about it, and it's your body heat just warms the clothes up during the night, and it makes such a difference in the morning. Just hoping my shoes are going to be a little bit drier. Yeah, feels like they're getting there. I can always ram some fresh paper in the morning just to take the last of it out. Anyway, about 10:15 at night, I'm really tired. It's been quite a long day, very enjoyable. I'm going to be off to sleep. Say good night from St Lawrence Church, Hilmarton. Good night. See you in the morning. Hello, good morning. It's about 6:15 on Tuesday morning now, day 2 of my mini cycle tour. I'm still in my sleeping bag, but I guess I've been awake about 15 minutes just coming to here, just looking at this lovely view. When I switched all the lights off last night, I needed my head torch to find my bed, definitely. But when I got in bed, all I could see was just a little, very small amount of grey light coming through those windows over there. Not so much that one, because there's a lot of stained glass in it, but that one and that one. And that's all there was, pitch dark and a little bit of light, grey light coming in, and I got off to sleep quite quickly. The bell goes off once every hour, and not all of them woke me up, because it really does sound quite distant. You're quite insulated in here from the sound. I was amazed how quiet it was listening to the bell ringing last night, when they were going quite fast and furious, and it really sounded like they were somewhere away. I'm going to get up now, put the kettle on and have a hot drink, and then I've got an all-day breakfast boiling in the bag. I literally just need to immerse it in some hot water for 8 minutes. Okay, just walking down to my social area on the cold floor. I am going to make up a hot water bottle for my feet. First thing I'm going to do, switch some of the lights on and make the church feel nice and cosy. Up past the font to the left. The reason I had so many hot water bottles last night is because it's a tiled floor, bits of carpet in places, but I'm only in socks. I should have bought some Crocs and plastic sandals, but I just wanted to bring the 2 small panniers and be minimalist, and that's the reason I didn't go up in the bell tower with them. They said I would have needed shoes up there, and I just couldn't face putting those wet shoes back on. They was stuffed with newspaper. I hoped that they were going to be dry this morning. First things first anyway, the kettle. I'm just in the porch doing this kind of weather assessment. It looks okay outside. The ground still looks wet from last night, but that doesn't look recent. It looks like it's drying out. Lots of bird song in the churchyard. The lady said last night there's lots of wildlife. It's teeming with wildlife. It's a shame it just wasn't warm enough or dry enough to sit out there last night. I've just done the weather forecast for the area, and it says dry all day, temperatures 10 to 11, but feels more like 8. And then I looked at the wind direction, it's 10 miles an hour, which is not that strong, but it's from the north, so I'm going to be getting a cold crosswind most of the day. I was kind of expecting that. I'm just enjoying sitting here with my coffee. I'm just going to boil some water shortly, immerse my boiling the bag breakfast in it, and then by the time I finish that coffee, it should be time for breakfast. Just poured my second coffee, Had that hot boil in the bag all day breakfast. That's really warmed my cockles. I've taken all the wet newspaper out of my shoes and stuffed it full of dry newspaper and put them out in the porch. Whether that's going to make a difference before I go, I don't know. I've got 2 pairs of socks, so I'm probably going to put 2 pairs of socks on this morning, the 81, just to try and absorb any water. But hopefully, if it's dry today, the shoes will actually dry themselves just through, gliding through the air while I'm pedaling. This is my sleep system. I bought my summer sleeping bag. I've only got 2, the winter and the summer. They're both Snug Pack Softies. This is the Softie 3. It's got a comfort down to +5 and an extreme survival rating of 0. I was more than warm enough in that last night. And I just put in a cheap cotton mummy liner. That they say that quite often adds a season onto a sleeping bag, whatever that means. I cannot get on with inflatable pillows. I've tried several brands and I just cannot get on with them. So I was in Go Outdoors recently. My wife's got a membership card, so I just bought a foldable pillow. It's a little bit heavier than an inflatable pillow, and it's certainly more bulky, but I just sort of think the trade-off is going to get a better night's sleep. Having said that, I didn't use it last night. I used the pillow they gave me. I mean, why would I not want to? And they gave me this really warm blanket, and it was so big I folded it in 2, so in effect I had 2 blankets underneath me. It slept like a log, I really did. I did bring one of those blankets up there and put it over me, but I think that was unnecessary. I slept with my hat on just so I didn't lose any body heat. That's the other thing, my woolly fleecy beanie hat. Anyway, just sitting here. It's just rung 7 a.m. Again this morning, I've got my feet on a hot water bottle, on a cushion, on a footstool with this blanket over me. And it's just really nice to get warm feet. Because when I walk on these stone slabs, you do feel this cold. I've kind of misjudged the conditions last night. I think because the weekend was so warm, it's almost like a mini heat wave, and it's so welcome after a long wet winter. It lulled me into a false sense of security. I should really have bought 2 big panniers and just put warmer clothes in. That way I could have had Crocs on last night. When they invited me up in the tower, I could have gone, and I couldn't bear the thought of putting those wet shoes on. As regard charging all of my devices, because they're nearly all USB rechargeable, lights, Garmin's, head torch, phone, etc. I bought the 10,000 milliamp power pack. I've got 2. I've got a big, huge 20,000, which I'm going to use for camping trips, and this is just really for day trips. It's the phone that absorbs most of it, keeping your phone topped up. So I kept things topped up with that last night, and that still had power in, although it had been depleted. And I've also got a USB plug there with 2 inputs, and I've also got fast charging cables wherever appropriate. I mean, the light I haven't, but all my USB-C devices are fast charging cables, because as I understand it, there's no point in having a fast charge plug if you don't have the cables to go with it. Just make sure I leave with a full charge on my phone. That's fully charged overnight, so that's ready for on the road use today. On my June cycle tour of last year, when I rode from Bath to York, visiting thankful villages, my old 10,000 milliamp power pack packed up, and I had terrible problems. It just would not hold its charge. After the first day, I was having to dive in churches and pubs, that sort of thing, and just topping things up with the plugs. That cost me an enormous amount of time. So I bought myself, as I said, all the cables, fast charge cables for that fast charge plug. I've got a 10,000 milliamp power, and I've also got the 20,000 milliamp hour Belkin power pack. So probably in the summer I'll take both of them, plus the fact I've also got a 7,500 milliamp hour. It looks like a lipstick tube. It's a small one I use for on the road, just for doing the Garmin's. But what I found is that's what takes the bulk of the power, charging your phone up. Well, I'm all packed up. I've wiped my bike down in the porch, put some oil on the chain, got the garments, the lights, everything recharged, got my bedding area all put back to how I found it. It's classic youth hostel setup, blanket sheets at the bottom. They were smelly. That was so nice when I lifted that blanket off. It just smelled so clean and fresh. Hot water bottle back, pillow at the top. Just got a few valuables out still. Going to put the panniers on the bike shortly. It's only just rung 8 o'clock, so I'm ready to go shortly. So I've just made myself another coffee, turned out most of the lights. The chancel's already lighting itself up naturally. As I said last night, sometimes, because they're facing east and south normally, you just get loads of peripheral lights on the wall and the floor, and it's like walking through a tunnel of light. It really is. It's hard to describe, but sometimes it's so ethereal and spiritual. I can see why it's been designed this way. The more I get to learn about churches, and I'm by no means I'm an expert, I'm looking with a beginner's eye, but I'm very aware there's so much symbolism and meaning. I've still got the outer wire door locked, so my bike's safe out there. It's all ready to roll shortly once I put the panniers on. I'll go and sign the visitor's book shortly, but meanwhile I'm just going to sit down and enjoy this last coffee here. Elaine told me last night how she wants me to lead the church and all the security procedures, so I obviously won't go into detail, but everything's all ready for me to roll, so I'm just going to enjoy this coffee. My shoes were stuffed full of newspaper, taken it out this morning, very damp and wet, and I've restuffed it with dry paper. They're out in the porch drying in the sun. I think they'll just dry by the draft of the wind this morning. It's supposed to be dry today. I don't really care, to be honest. This is the social kitchen area. Whenever you come camping, they always supply tea, coffee, milk. Sometimes the milk's in the fridge. In this case, it's powdered milk. And what I've noticed is each particular church tends to leave you a local treat. And in this case, it's shortbread. That was really nice last night. Looks like it's going to be a nice day. So today, day 2, I'm heading westwards to start with. That church there is on a private estate. And I needed to phone the key holder yesterday to arrange access, and she can't get there till 11 a.m. and that's just a bit too late for me. And when I told her I was on a bike, she said, "Oh, you'll probably squeeze through the gap. I only really need to let you in through the key code on the gate." And I said, "Oh, is that okay? I'm not trespassing, am I?" She said, No, you've got access to the church. So I may get there. If not, it's so close to home, I can always come back another day. Then a bit further west to Lee Delamere. It's probably better known for the M4 services there. That would be the second of the church. And then finally, I'll do a 180-degree turn. And most of today, I'm going to be heading east. And the final church is St John the Baptist, Inglesham. That's right up in the very top right-hand corner of the county. It's a big county. It's roughly the same size as the country of Luxembourg. In fact, square mileage, I think, is slightly bigger. That's 44.5 miles. And then that'd be all the Churches Conservation Trust properties in Wiltshire visited, all 21. Then it's about, 11 miles south to Swindon, booked on a mid-evening train. I really want to avoid rush hour and busy trains trying to get my bike on, so I'm going to hop into Wetherspoons, hopefully have a meal and a few beers. Looking forward to today. In about half an hour, I'll be on the road. It's almost 9 a.m. Time to go. Just switched off all the lights. Last minute check to make sure I've got everything. Yep. Everything's off. Done all the security features I was asked to. Signed the visitor's book. The church is now open from 9 a.m. to the public. And when I leave, I just need to text Elaine to let her know I've gone, left the church open. So get these shoes on and I'll be on my way. That's me, left it all unlocked, taken off the champing sign, please knock. That just means it's open for anybody looking. You can see it's just gone 9 AM. I'm just going to text to say I'm leaving as arranged. Give my darling wife a phone call because there's very limited phone coverage in there. And then hopefully going to get off this road as soon as possible as I head over towards the first church. I just left Hilmarton on this busy A road. This is the one I came in on last night. Downhill luckily, and within half a mile I'm turning on to these minor roads, thank goodness, head towards my first church.